Hello everybody! Welcome to Melissa's Musing. It is the start of the year and today we're talking about fear. Because as we goal set and as we're thinking of smart goals for ourselves and really deciding on what we want to do with this year and setting the intentions, we may be experiencing crippling fear. Especially if our goals are stretchy and exciting and really invigorating. You know, if we have a goal, let's say that we want to lose 50 pounds this year. And that's the ultimate goal, but we're too scared of doing it. We're crippled by fear. So instead we put a 20 pound on there instead. We're like, okay, 20 seems doable. I can totally do that by the end of the year. You're selling yourself short because you are totally deserving of the 50 pounds that you actually want to lose, but your fear is holding you back. So, long story short, how do you get past the fear? How do you get past that crippling, like, oh my God, feeling, what am I doing with myself? And know that you're confidently making the right choice. Well, one of the things that those of us who are often taking risks and setting goals for ourselves and kind of making these declarations and then achieving these declarations for ourselves, we consistently see that. And if you guys are out there, Jenna Klepper, I see that you just recently joined, and Tyler, I know that you are an entrepreneur. Let me know if you guys also experience this. Put a 1 in the box if you experience or have experienced at some point fear in regards to your goals. Of course, right? Like, absolutely. Put a 1 in the box if you've experienced fear associated with your goals, where you're basically, you think of something. So I'll give you an example. John and I wanting to move to California. We decide we want to move to California. We set our sights on San Diego. We're full steam ahead. We put the goals to paper. And we write it down, and then we start telling people and our friends. Well, guess what? Everybody and their mother's like, that's a terrible idea. I don't know why you're doing that. And as we're basically, putting pen to paper and deciding on that fear, of course, the only thing running through our mind is fear, because it's so many what ifs in the what if things could go wrong direction. Like, yes, moving to San Diego sounds ideal and awesome if all stars align, but what if we get to San Diego and can't find jobs? What if we the car breaks down along the way? What if we can't get the house sold as we're embarking along the road trip? What if? All very fear-based what ifs, right? But on the opposite side of the spectrum, if we let ourselves think in a matter of abundance and come at it from a totally different mindset, well, what if we get to San Diego and find jobs within a few weeks, which is what happened? What if the car runs super smoothly and carries us to San Diego and 2 years into our life here? That happened. What if we get to San Diego and it's all that we've ever hoped and dreamed and more, and the house in Buffalo sold absolutely no problem literally days after we arrived here after a 7-week road trip? That happened. So you can see that our mind does not typically start to calculate what ifs in a really positive way. We're not programmed naturally to think in a mindset of abundance. We're trained to think in a mindset of fear, because I say it all the time, we're human beings. We're trained to be what? Comfortable, secure, and safe. We are human beings. We are life forms, and we are survival of the fittest. That is the number one thing ingrained in our heads. So instead we get to shift our mindset and we get to address the fear that can really cripple what it is that we want in life. So I actually have a few really awesome tips and tricks to share with you today based on fear from the book, You Are a Badass. I adapted them from that and kind of shifted them a little bit, but if that's not already on your reading list, you'll want to get it on your reading list. It's a badass book, and it will show you why you're a badass. But basically, she talks about a few different points, and then I added some of my own and some of my own thoughts, and we're going to talk about them right now. So fear. View fear from the rear view window. We're going to start over. View fear from the rear view window. So, similar to how I just outlined our road trip to California and how scary the what if seemed, my second perspective, coming at it from a feeling of abundance and the what ifs in a positive way, that's ultimately what we're doing when we view our fear from the rearview mirror. Basically, put yourself, a year forward from your goal and look back. How really scary does that situation look now that it's 12 months behind us? Put yourself into that mental space. And then also put yourself into the space of every single fearful decision you've ever made up to this point and look at it back now. Because now, thinking about, so if I decided I wanted to move to New York City over the next 7 weeks and quit my job and blah, blah. Well, having had now the reference point of breaking through that fear the first time, it would be easy peasy this next time, or at least I would have the reference from that past fear, busting through that past fear, and seeing it in my rearview window, it doesn't allow the future fears to be as scary because I was able to bust through that initial fear. So check out your fears from the rearview window and try and remove yourself from that, you know, like kind of micro situation that you may be evaluating things in right now that seems really stressful and overwhelming, and give yourself like a 12-month perspective. Do yourself that favor and allow yourself to look at everything from like this view up here so you can really evaluate, is your fear relevant or is it just fear? Second thing, flip the fear. So I'm going to give you guys an example of this. I want to write a book. So I'm thinking about writing a book. Oh, but that seems like really stressful. What if people hate my book or hate what I have to say? Well, if they hate what I have to say and hate my book, like that seems really shitty, right? That's where my fear lies, okay? So like that's the basis of the fear. So you want to flip the script. How silly and stupid would it be if I was to not write the book? So basically you flip the reactions that you are fearful of in relation to that activity. So we're going to try it again because that one was a little bit funky. I want to embark on creating a YouTube channel, but I'm really afraid. What are your fears? That I'm a really poor public speaker and that I'm not going to get my message across. Okay, so what does that fear, you know, resonate from? Probably, again, being afraid of being misinterpreted as being stupid, right? So therefore, my fear is of being viewed as stupid. And so how stupid would it be to not do the activity? Do you kind of get what I'm saying there? Like, how stupid now would it be to not do the YouTube channel? Like, how would that feel? So you kind of flip the fear. The next thing is be in the moment. The number one way that our fears run away with us is if we allow ourselves to think 6 months, a year, 5 years down the road. I literally had a friend who called me like a week ago and I was giving her advice and she was like, but in 4 years when this happens, how do I know that like I've made, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, no. We cannot talk about 4 years from now. We can't even talk a year from now. Forget next month or next week. Let's talk now. What do you want right now? Because literally, if you let the fear go and unleash the power within you to really achieve what you want to between now and whatever's happening in 4 years, dude, 4 years is going to look dramatically fucking different than it does right now. I'm telling you that right now. Because 5 years ago, sitting in Buffalo in the snow, behind my desk at Citibank, hating my life, I would never have been able to envision where I stand right now. It would not even be mentally achievable. And I cannot achieve what, like my mind does not have the capacity to wrap its head around what I'm going to achieve in the next 5 years. So we're going to talk about short term. So be in the moment. The easiest way to let your fear cripple you is by looking months ahead of time. So let's talk right now. And then cut off the crap. This is a really simple one. Cut the crap off. Dude, if you allow your head to run stories, it will run stories. My coach always told me in ALA, if you're going to create a story, it might as well be a fucking great one, right? Because 9 times out of 10, I'm going to correct that, probably 99 times out of 100, you are going to very naturally give yourself a lot of shit to work through. Don't do that to yourself. Be really kind to yourself and cut off the crap. If you see yourself going into that what-if spiral, who has ever experienced that what-if spiral? If you have experienced that what-if spiral, I want you to give me an emoji in the box right now of a little tornado. Give me a little tornado. Because that downward spiral of what ifs in a really negative way can derail us like nobody's business. Oh my God, that can literally make you like shit your pants sick if you allow it to. So instead, we're going to, focus on the moment. So as you are setting your goals, think about what's achievable now. And what you absolutely want to achieve before the end of the year and how you can get on that path right now. And do not allow the fear. Cut that crap out. If the fear starts crippling back, fear is a choice. And you can play into it or you can tell it to take a hike. And then the last thing, and this is a really important one, don't think about fearful things before you go to bed. Because the only thing worse than being really fearful is being exhausted and fearful, which is how you will wake up if you go to bed thinking about all the shit that you're really scared of and fearful of. So instead, If you're feeling really uneasy and really anxious before you're going to bed and you're like, I don't know what to do before I go to bed. Well, guess what? You get to meditate. You get to clear all that space out. You get to breathe in an amazing evening of sleep, and you get to breathe out all of that, because guess what? It's still going to be there in the morning. And again, it's not going to serve you to deal with that exhausted. So you get to let it go before you go to sleep, and you get to not bring it into bed with you. Seriously, leave it at the bedroom door. If you find yourself approaching your pillow with this gripping feeling of fear in your chest or in your stomach, you get to turn your ass out of that bedroom, back into the hallway, and you get to reevaluate your fear so that you don't even make it into bed allowing that, because it's not going to serve you. So you guys, now you've got 5 amazing tips and tricks to totally bust through your fears as you're setting your goals and intentions for the year. It's going to be a kick-ass year for you. I cannot even handle it. I already know. And I would be so eager and interested to know what one of your major goals is. So please share it with me in the comments below. I would absolutely love to know what it is. I would love to cheer you on. Declare it. Like, seriously, I will hold you accountable. So put it here on my wall. Declare it now. If there is something that seems scary as fuck and you have been holding yourself back because you just have not been able to grow the pair of balls needed to do it, write it here right now. Declare what you get to do, and then use the 5 tools that I just gave you for your tool belt to totally dominate that fear. Fear does not get to run your decisions anymore. You do, and you get to control how you choose to manage the fear. I love you guys. Hope this message was important and resonated with you guys. I love you, and we will talk soon. Hope you're having a great first business day of the year. John and I worked a bit yesterday, but first official business day of the year. So all the offices are back open, and we're kicking it hard. We will talk to you soon.